Anthonites! Sometimes I want to know more about a topic. Sometimes it's something silly, sometimes it's something a little bit more serious. I believe that everything has a story to be told. This is my attempt to fill you in on the pointless fun and oddly interesting info that my research has led me to. I had a strange conversation the other day with a member of my family, which led me to a conclusion. We often have a base level knowledge of things that we accept as fact, but we don't often know the history or the context of it. For instance, some people base entire conspiracies on the melting point of steel, but never question at what point that metal begins to bend more freely, become pliable or malleable. Now hold on, I am not trash talking those people. Heck, as a matter of fact, I was one at one point when I was a younger man. I had very similar ideas, but thanks to more research into things that I probably don't ever need to know, I am glad to say, it's more complicated than that. Today we're looking into a foundational belief far less controversial than my first example. What is an inch? At first it seems like a fairly straightforward answer. It's a unit of measurement. 12 of them make a foot. 36 of them make a yard. And for my metric viewers, I'm sorry for this, but I promise we'll get to you guys a little bit later. Before we get too deep into this topic, I'd like to remind you that Amazon sells some crazy stuff. I've curated a list of Tocino and Tocino-related products that Amazon has available for sale. I found Tocino hats, Tocino shirts, coffee mugs, and a whole lot more. Check it out in the description down below, and if you buy anything, it helps the channel. If you don't know what Tocino is, you're definitely missing out. It's a dish that I fell in love with while I was in the Philippines, and when done right, it melts your core. It's awesome. I love it. Okay, so back to inches. Other than being 1/6 of what a man claims to have on Tinder, it's a unit of measurement that's part of the British Imperial and United States customary measurement system. Officially, the imperial system is only used in one country, which is Burma, aka Myanmar. The US and Liberia use a very closely related system called the US customary units. The difference is that some units have slightly different values in the US customary system than its cousin, the imperial system. The UK uses a mix of metric and imperial ever since about 1995, when they broke from imperial, for the most part. In unofficial ways, some English-speaking countries will occasionally use some imperial units, though metric is more widely used and understood. The word inch is actually derived from the Roman word uncia, meaning 12th in Latin. It's also the root word in ounce. The two words began to diverge in Middle English and Anglo-Norman dialects, before merging into modern English as two separate words with different spelling and pronunciation. The inch is usually understood to be derived from about the average width of a man's thumb. In many European languages, the word inch is actually derived from the same word for thumb. Some examples include Danish, Norwegian, Afrikaans, Czech, Dutch, French, Italian, Slovak, and Spanish. The exact official length of an inch has varied from culture to culture, country to country throughout history. But ever since the adoption of the international yard in the 1950s and 60s, it's been based and defined by the metric system as exactly 25.4 millimeters. I told you that there was some stuff for you metric folk out there. There's a little bit more to come. Before the adoption of the international yard and pound, the UK defined the British inch in terms of the imperial standard yard. The US defined our inch compared to a meter in 1866, thanks to the Metric Act, which was passed by Congress that same year. Between 1870 and 1875, shit got real with the formation of the International Bureau of Weights and Measures. Thanks to some fancy French dudes signing some papers or something, I don't know. As a bonus, the US got our hands on 2 official meters and 2 official kilograms to measure stuff against. Maybe that's a topic for another video, though. In 1930, the British Standards Institution adopted a standard of 1 inch being exactly 25.4 millimeters. The ASA, or American Standards Association, did the same in 1933. This newly defined inch became known as the industrial inch and was adopted for trade and standards by another 16 countries. The inch is still used in a customary way here in the US, Canada, UK, and oddly enough in Japan for things like phone screens and TVs and other displays. The inch is an old unit of measurement. Yep, older than the furlong by about 2 centuries. The inch dates back to its first use in about the 7th century, where it was used to set fines for wounds of various depth. Each inch'll cost you a shilling! A popular Anglo-Saxon unit of length was actually the barleycorn. Some dudes appropriated the hell out of that, and then the official definition of an inch became 3 barleycorns, which actually continued to be its legal definition for several centuries. Imagine trying to hit somebody up on a dating app and they ask you how many barleycorns you're packing. 18, and if you've heard anything else, she's a dirty liar. One such early definition by Edward II of England in 1324 was 3 grains of barley, dry and round, placed end to end lengthwise. So then King David of Scotland got in on the act of defining the inch as the average width of a man's thumb. He even took the average thing to heart, taking small, medium, and large men into account in his time. Now, this is widely told as the origin story of the inch. However, sadly, it seems to have been an effort to standardize what already existed, and even some source writings have been tampered with after the fact. So, now here's the thing. Regardless of what you've heard, not all inches are created equal. There's a good chance you could still end up converting from one type of inch to another type of inch, even today. In fact, for survey purposes, a survey inch is defined as 39.37 inches per meter, which still leads to a 1/millionth of a difference between standard and survey inches in the US. This can actually cause issues on large-scale building projects if not corrected and accounted for. Some European countries adopted these customary units, such as France, who ended up coming up differently. A French inch, or pounce, measured in at 27 millimeters, which is a little bit longer than the inch used in the US, where the Amsterdam inch and foot were about 8% longer than the standard. Sometimes when you hear these discussed, they're grouped together in something called continental inches. The Scottish inch is actually where we get the modern phrase, "give him an inch and he'll take a mile." In its original usage, it was actually closer to, "give him an inch and he'll take an ell," where ell at the time was a unit of measurement equal to about 37 inches or 93.4 centimeters. See, metric people, I'm not forgetting about ya! So that's the story of the inch. It's far more than you ever wanted to know, I'm sure. But I'm genuinely interested in anything you have to say about this little thing that we take for granted. I knew that the inch had a lot of history behind it, but I wasn't sure that it had this much. It had a lot more than I expected. What are your thoughts? Do you have any ideas for these sorts of deep dives? I don't know. Let me know. Also, as a reminder, there is the Amazon affiliate link. I'd be wonderfully, I would feel loved if you checked out the Amazon affiliate link, even if you're not going to buy anything, just simply clicking on it. It helps the channel. It lets Amazon know that I'm sending people there. Even if you don't have an Amazon account, just if you click the link, that would be amazing. I hope that this video's been helpful for you. I hope maybe you learned something. I hope that you enjoyed the story of the inch. If you have any sort of suggestions, maybe you me to dive into something specifically, just tell me down there. Anyway. Till next time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and do all those things that absolutely, positively make me love my job. Also, be awesome to yourself and amazing to each other. Bye. Thank you so much for watching today's vlog. If you'd like to watch more content, that's on screen now. Also, if you'd like to support this channel, you can find a Patreon link at the lower right-hand corner of your screen. Next vlog,